Thomas Piketty's Capital in the 21st Century is a groundbreaking work in economics, analyzing the dynamics of wealth and income inequality over centuries. Its rigorous data-driven approach and, provocative arguments made it a defining text of the last decade, influencing global debates on economic policy and inequality. This summary outlines its core arguments, structure and impact, focusing on Piketty's central thesis about capital accumulation and his policy proposals. Piketty, a French economist, argues that capitalism inherently concentrates wealth, leading to rising inequality unless counteracted by policy. His core insight is encapsulated in the formula R is greater than G, where the return on capital, ER, exceeds economic growth, G. When this occurs, wealth grows faster than income from labor, concentrating economic power among capital owners and exacerbating inequality over time. The book draws on extensive historical data, spanning 300 years across countries like France, the United Kingdom and the United States, to support this claim, making it a landmark in empirical economics. Structured in 4 parts, the book combines theoretical frameworks with historical analysis. Part 1 introduces key concepts: capital, which is wealth in assets like property or stocks, income and growth. Piketty defines capital broadly, including all marketable assets, and emphasizes its role in generating returns independent of labor. Part 2 presents historical trends, showing that inequality was high in the 19th century, declined in the mid-20th century due to wars and progressive policies, and has risen since the 1980s. He uses tax records and estate data to track wealth distribution, revealing that the top 1% and 10% increasingly dominate capital ownership. Part 3, the book's core, elaborates on R is greater than G. Piketty argues that when capital's return, say 4 to 5% annually, outpaces economic growth, maybe 1 to 2%, inherited wealth grows disproportionately, creating a rentier class. This dynamic was temporarily disrupted by 20th century shocks, world wars, the Great Depression and high taxes, but resumed in the neoliberal era. He warns that unchecked, this trend could lead to oligarchic dominance, undermining democracy. Piketty also examines labor income inequality, noting that superstar salaries like those of CEOs contribute to the top 1%'s rising share, though capital remains the primary driver. In Part 4, Piketty puts forward several solutions, with his main recommendation being a global progressive wealth tax to curb the concentration of capital. He suggests annual tax rates, like say 1 to 2% on large fortunes, to slow down wealth accumulation but still preserve economic incentives. Recognizing the political challenges involved, he also backs progressive income taxes, better access to education, and international cooperation to fight tax havens. The idea behind these policies is to strike a balance between efficiency and equity, and to prevent a return to the kind of inequality we saw back in the 19th century. The impact of the book is honestly immense. Its data-rich approach, drawing on historical archives and tax records, set a whole new standard for economic research, and even though it's around 700 pages long, its accessible style managed to engage both policymakers and the general public. It actually won the 2014 Financial Times Business Book of the Year, and it sparked a lot of debate on wealth taxes, influencing people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Still, critics have their doubts. Some argue that R is greater than G isn't always true, pointing to things like technological innovation or capital depreciation, while others question whether a global wealth tax is even possible, considering the political divisions out there. Capital in the 21st Century really stands as a cornerstone for understanding the structural roots of inequality. Its push for evidence-based policy and global cooperation keeps shaping how we talk about the future of capitalism, and honestly, it's become essential reading for anyone wanting to tackle 21st century economic challenges. This has been Thomas Piketty's Capital in the 21st Century. Cheers for watching Speedbook Reviews. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel.